Smoked mac and cheese.
Smoked mac and cheese.
Got a smoker.
I have a Green Mountain Grill. So they're about comparable to a Traeger, though I want to say last year Home Depot had them like Traeger's super affordable. So I think for most of the year they had them at $4.99, which were the normal size.
Yeah, everybody has one of those, so he likes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are really good. I mean, easy cleanup. That reminds me, I gotta vacuum that out too. All right. Let's see here. Let's share our screen. Where was I? Yeah. I'll have to make some smoked mac and cheese and bring it to you.
Yes. Yes, if you're gonna talk about it.
That's right.
Smoked sausage.
Yeah.
I haven't done smoked sausages yet.
With pepperoni.
Pepperoni, I will do. I think I'm looking at a couple of things to make my own sausage and pepperoni sticks. So I love it. Well, good morning.
Good morning, yeah.
As we're talking about food at 9 a.m. So how many of you have been doing door knocking since our last class? Not a single soul. Excellent.
I was going to.
It's going to, but
Weather.
oh my God. Wait a minute. All right, so the weather. So it drizzled this morning and it rained on Monday, but the rest of the time it's been like 60, 75 degrees. There we go. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Quick introduction. Anthony with Orange County Realtors. I'm your tech trainer. Holly has me out here once a month. Today, we're going to go over the RPR updates. This is typically part of the digital door knocking series. This technically is part 3 of that class. So I kind of switched things around for you all just to give you updates. Now, just so you know, for those of you who are brand new, who don't know what RPR stands for Realtor Property Resource. And basically this tool allows us and provided to us by NAR, which is included in your dues, allows us to look at tax data information on listed and unlisted properties in the United States. A little bit different than realist tax records, only because realist tax records deals with listed and unlisted property information, tax data information for California. Now, there's some other nice things here, especially with the recent updates that they've done, that will make this even more useful to us, because even though they went through a major update last year in its look and its feel, they've actually updated some things majorly that needed it, which are the reports. Okay. So we're going to have a little fun with that. Now, if you've never used RPR before, you can do one of two things. You can go log into the MLS, and from the MLS, go to the links tab. From the links tab, choose Realtor Property Resource there, or go straight to the source, www.narrpr.com. Now, if you do that, and this is your first time logging in or needing to log in, then you're going to need to register yourself as a user. Now, real quickly, from here, when the screen looks like this, just come down below, say create a new account, and put in your legal last name or your email address, or you could just say, instead of your email address, your NRDS number. Now, your NRDS number was issued to you by the association. So Orange County members here, 2055 is typically what your NRDS number begins with. Call it
Nerds too.
your nerds number. Nerds. I think they're now changing it because people found nerd to be offensive. But you know what? Us nerds rule the world.
It's a compliment.
I know. And besides, who doesn't like to hear that every realtor that you know is a nerd? Right? But I think they're now calling it M1 or something like that, MI1 or something silly. Nowadays, with this politically correct stuff, we've got now acronyms for other things. Now we have to be a robot, right? So once you put that in, you're then going to create a password to the system. You're going to go through your setup process, add your photo, add your company logo, add your phone numbers, what MLS system you're with. It should automatically pick that up based on your user ID from the MLS. Okay. Now, once we do this, now all we need to do at this point. Okay. Got my caps lock on.
I know your password, smoked mac and cheese.
Close. I should start changing those to that. Smoked meat. But what we're now going to do is what I love about RPR is that they give you little helpful hints, especially whenever they update something. You can watch quick little webinars on how to do stuff. You know, RSVP for a class, super easy. It looks like they just recently added in a nice little section over here. We'll just close that out. But typically, you're going to look at information like this. Now, what I love about this is that you can actually pick market areas to look at data for. And depending on how you set this up through your profile, we can see for the past month how many listings are currently for sale, how many are for lease, how many properties went through a price change, are impending, closed, leased, and of course, distressed. Now, here's the big one. Distressed is not usually in the MLS. Why? Because it's not listed yet. So this is kind of a cool thing to see. So out of all this, I know we've got some people going out there that are probably like, are there any REOs? Right? When are the auctions happening? Well, look, there's one distressed property in all of San Clemente. Right? But here, what I love about this is that you can see what's currently new, what has an open house, and if you have something that says soon, that means that it's oncoming soon. So MLSs are data sharing with RPR. So what's nice is you're not only going to see when I click on a property that it's a new listing, it's active in the MLS, it's a condo listed at 1.699, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,500 square feet at that address, but we also get to see the homeowner information, which is usually not on the MLS. Yeah. Well, here I get to see that, right? But what's nice is it's because we're accessing the tax data. Here, what I love about this is that we get to see what it's currently listed at, what its estimated value should have been at. We get to see the listing photos. We get to see all this fun stuff in here, including the property description, some of the property facts, what's on public record versus what's on the listing, plus my changes. I have this fun stuff over here now. So RPR has elaborated on this. If you look here, we've got a valuation tool. This is great for an investor. You can go through to see if this is a viable long-term, short-term investment property for someone. All you got to do is just put in your numbers. If you happen to know what you're doing, just click on that valuate tool and it will all of a sudden give you an interesting, very, spreadsheet based on what their offer is, what their loan amount is, if they're looking at a short-term investment, long-term, if they're going to use it as a rental, what the rental price will be, and then it'll give you a nice little spreadsheet to tell you if it's going to have cash flow or negative. Very, very cool, right? So if you are working with an investor, that is a great tool. Here you also have access to zip forms. So RPR has now a unique partnership. So this is a great way of writing up a transaction very quickly and easily using the tax record and potentially the MLS data on your listing. Now, usually what I love that zip forms or transaction zip forms edition for is if you're doing a listing presentation. So we have MLS Connect and regular zip forms to import the MLS data onto our purchase agreement. But now, while we're doing a listing presentation, we can now immediately jump over and create a transaction from the tax records in less than 5 seconds.
I love that.
And then it's a great improvement. Now they've got some other fun things here, like the First Street property specific climate risk. So now they're going to give you some fun information about the climate and its hazards potentially. So here, if we go through there, we got this property. We get to see that the flood factor is 1 out of 10, 4 out of 10 for fire, wind factor, air factor, heat factor. Gives you some key insights about the property, which is kind of interesting. So we don't necessarily, we didn't have that before, but you know what, now with everything going on, RPR has gone out of its way to do this for properties. Well, then now we're all of a sudden talking about tens all the way across, right?
Yeah, you know, maybe, insurance would be a way to look and see, you know,
Oh, about
this last time there was an event there or something.
exactly. I'm gonna say let's look at.
Maybe the FEMA one?
I think the discover what the climate risk could cost you. Start a free trial. I think this is a paid service for their flood community
Yeah.
risk map. I mean, not that you all would ever use that, but something I
What insurance fee asset.
gotcha. Do they have something like that, like the SnapMate home improvement estimates now? Oh, here we go, AARP. Now, I know when we hear the words AARP, we immediately think old people, right? I know at the age of 30, I started getting AARP information to sign up for it. So I've been an AARP since my 30s. Seriously. Now, funny enough, on my 50th birthday, the day of, I received that card that said, "Welcome to the 50s Club." You know, I'm like, ah, now I'm depressed. But this just isn't for people of 50, 50 years and older. What I love about this tool is that we're now going to see interesting things, even for the average bear, right? Overall livability score. Everybody wants to live in a really well place. Doesn't matter if you're young, old, or middle aged, right? We want to understand the communities that we're moving to. We want to understand the type of life that we're wanting to have because you know what? You all are real estate agents and this is how you build that relationship, right? So you'll know what are the good things and bad things in and around the area, like housing affordability, the neighborhood information, transportation, if you ever needed to take public transportation, which I kind of laugh at this one. For safety and convenience, it's a 58 out of 100. You know, I want to rate that a little bit lower, especially if you're dependent upon public transportation, because I don't think California is really known for its public transportation. All right. I think you can sit out there for about 2 hours before a bus comes by, kind of thing. And that's during rush hour. Environment. I love how environment, clean air and water. We're supposed to be one of the cleanest states with all of our environmental friendly things, and yet we're at a 50.
That probably happened because of the fires.
It's going to be
Every time
fires.
that happens, whatever good that we do, wipes it out.
I just look out in the horizon. I can see the smog like yesterday. It was just like that crazy little haze, even though it's windy
The
here.
rain will help it.
The rain will help. By the way, health, a lot of health facilities, 73, engagement, opportunity. So now all of a sudden you can start understanding this. This is great for our marketing. This is great for people moving into the neighborhood to understand how friendly and how, livable things are. Because nobody wants to always be trapped in their home, right? Nobody wants to be trapped in their home? Good. Good. So that's something that's been added in just a little while ago. By the way, you also have access to the listing agent data. This is great, along with the private remarks from their listing. So using RPR, you can actually call the agent if you needed to. Okay. On top of all the other fun stuff like the interior features, exterior features, legal descriptions. By the way, I love this. How many of you actually look at a listing on the MLS and notice that there are no schools? A lot of times they tell you the school district, but they don't tell you the schools.
For that.
Sometimes there can be a reason for that, but you know what? No matter what, the county still says what homes have to go to what schools. So
How could change why you have your listing and get sued for it?
what'll happen is they will change it and then you just have to change it, right? These are things that's subject to change. But how often do they change it? Do they change it every month? Do they change it every year? Maybe. Do they change it every 6 months? Not necessarily, right? But at least you know at the time what the schools are. So here at Kappa Unified, this home actually goes to La Palmas, Bernice, San Clemente High School versus what the agent put down on their listing, which is great. They actually put something down, but a lot of times this will be blank. So anybody like that? So you're getting the schools vetted for you. Okay. You got the homeowner facts. You got the listing history, previous listings you can access, public records, so you can look at deed, you can look at mortgage history, and of course, you can look at tax history on the property, which is great from the dawn of time, right? Sales financing, all this fun stuff. So this is all just from the simple property report right out of the gate. So now how can we work with this? So say you pick a neighborhood and you want to just look at things in and around your particular neighborhood. And here we're just going to do a map search. And in my map search, hopefully, I'm just going to say I don't want to look for active for sales. I just want to look for public record data. And I'm just going to draw my map, draw in and around my neighborhood. Whoop. Let's go right here. Boop. And I'm going to say search this area. Now, what should happen, we have the unlisted properties here. What can I do with the unlisted properties? Very first and foremost, when we were talking about digital marketing and going from that, picking our neighborhoods and stuff, what we're now going to do is we're going to first create mailing labels. So like with Realist, we can create mailing labels for the properties that we're finding. Now here on Realist, we can create up to 2,000 mailing labels each and every month. With Realist, you can create 5,000. So between Realist and RPR, you can create 7,000 mailing labels each and every month at no cost to you. Now, when we do this, we can now say as a PDF document what Avery template we want to pick. Oops, let's move that out of the way so I'm not always picking that. So we can say the 5051s. Here we can say, do we want to send it to the property address or the tax bill? Anybody know the difference between the two?
Not everybody knows the property and the tax bill. They could be out of state or something.
Exactly. So the reason why we want to pick the tax bill is that sometimes in our neighborhood, out of the 500 homes that we're looking at here, there may be absentee owners, right? And what's nice about something like that is that if we have some absentee owners, I can all of a sudden start an absentee owner investor marketing campaign for that neighborhood, right? By the way, we have a preview of what that label would look like. Here we can have the owner's name, owner and or current resident, or we can customize the top part of that label. Here we can also apply other filters, like we want to pick both owner occupied and absentee, or you know what? Out of the 17 properties currently selected, just show me which ones are absentee, and out of 17, one of them is an investor. It's actually been streamlined since starting last year. So, well, but just imagine out of your 500 homes, and you immediately just say, show me out of those 500 properties that currently aren't listed, the absentees, and all of a sudden now you get 200 investors in there. That's a huge number one, but now all of a sudden that's great. But here, if we went owner occupied or all, we had 17. And then of course, from here, we can just say print. Now, when we hit print, the PDF document should be created, which it is. It'll automatically now be ready for us to put in our mailing labels. Now, what's nice about this is that as we see here, we have everybody in San Clemente, but we do have a homeowner, that one, Thomas Parr, that lives in Jacksonville, Wyoming. Kind of nice, right? Now I print this out. Now I don't have to do this each and every month for the same neighborhood, right? We don't want to do that because I made the PDF document. I can now download it, save it for my future mailings. Number one. Number two, how many of you have a CRM? By the way, a CRM stands for Contact Retention Management. Nobody, 3 people out of everybody? Young man, we've got to get you on a CRM. That way you got, when you start looking at these leads, right? Now, what's nice about this for that same 2,000 a month, because you have a CRM, you can instead create a CSV Excel spreadsheet file for that same list. Now, what's nice about this is that you notice there it just gave the address, the person's name, right? What doesn't it have? Besides that, more importantly about the person, phone numbers and email addresses. Hard to get, right? Guess what? In my Excel spreadsheet, I'm going to add 2 columns, phone number, email address. Now I'm going to ask title as an example that might have those things. I think title at least has email addresses. Do you have email addresses, young lady? Yes. She heard title. Come on down. So, no. I'm not throwing you under the bus. I'm actually trying to get them to use you all. Because now you give them the Excel spreadsheet and say, if you don't mind, can you get me the available phone numbers and or email addresses, whatever you can provide to me? And now all of a sudden in your Excel spreadsheet that you now have name, address, email, and potentially phone number. Now what am I going to do? I'm now going to import it into my CRM to now apply action plans. So imagine if these 17 properties were all absentee owners, I can now apply in my CRM the action plans to talk to an investor. So I start those campaigns, I get those things up and running, I get my marketing up and running, and this is how we can do that quickly and easily. You notice it didn't take us what, a couple of seconds, maybe a couple of minutes. And then of course, if I give you a list of names to get phone numbers and email addresses within 24 hours, maybe.
Yeah, there's a program we can set people up, yeah. Real quickly, emails and telephone numbers, title companies legally cannot supply.
Okay.
We all have vendors we can set people up so they can get it.
Excellent. If you have a vendor to be able to help to help the team, then I usually hear title, go to your title rep for those types of things. Because you guys have needs.
But we can set them up. We have a program ourselves that
To set agents up.
Yeah, everybody.
Okay. And then I would imagine that it doesn't cost a lot of money and it's probably very, very quickly, like within 24 hours. So within 24 hours, you've gotten that information, you've uploaded it into your database. Now all of a sudden you're able to start reaching out to start marketing. Because as we all know, what, 9 to 16 touches to convert leads. Let's reach out to them. Maybe even though they're maybe out of state, as that one person is in Wyoming, we find out their unique situation. Oh, it's a probate. You know, my parents were there. They're both dead. I'm now the trustee, blah, blah, blah. Now, guess what? We can start the ball rolling. What would you like to do with it? What do you need to do with it? What are your plans? You have a trust attorney. If not, maybe I have a vendor that might be able to help you with your situation. Right? So all of a sudden we can do what we need to do to be able to have conversations. Does that make sense? All right. All right. So some other nice things here. When I click on a property that's not listed, there's a unique thing here that I've seen that they've added. Like, because the property is not currently listed, it last closed back in 2018 for 1.1. Its estimated value for this neighborhood based on the information in and around the area is 2.3. So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 7 years, it's gained over $1 million of equity. So who lives in this house? Right? So pretty amazing that you bought it for 1.1 back in 2018. Today, its estimated value is about 2.4. There you go, Jeff and Cheryl. Let's go out and talk to them. 5-bedroom, 5-bath, 3,700 square feet. Kind of amazing. I can look at that same property back east and probably for half the cost. Right? So these are things that we can look at, which are kind of cool. Here we got the property information. Now, say it comes down to we need to actually create reports, right? Now, typically in my basics class, we usually go through the refine value. I love the refine value tool. This tool has been around since the dawn of RPR. What I love about this is that we can take into account improvements that have been made by the homeowner and improvements that need to be made by the home, right? To kind of get them in that state. How often have we come across a property where it's the original owner and they said, well, I did an upgrade to the property. I think I should, I think my property value is here. And you look around, you're kind of like, how do I get them to understand that this isn't up to today's standards, right? Because everybody feels that they should get at least $4 million for their house, right? So as an example, here with home improvements, you say maybe we'll take into account the major kitchen remodel that they did back in, oh, I don't know, 2015 in June, and they spent, I don't know, who would spend, how much would you spend on the kitchen to upgrade?
2015.
Well, no, just in general,
10,000.
10,000. All right, that's pretty good.
I want a nice kitchen.
All right. Now, when I add this, some people will go, well, geez, I expect this to add value of $10,000, right? Well, we know that since 2015, it's wear and tear and usage and all this other stuff. Now, what will happen here is that hopefully, if this works, and it should, I don't know why it's taking its time because it's usually instantaneous, it adds automatic depreciation. And depending on the area, it will depreciate at different values. It'll, based on local areas, contractors, labor, materials, things like that. So honestly, you'll get not what $10,000 is, but what it would be added in today. There you go. It's low. So out of $10,000 that you spent 10 years ago, it's only going to really add $1,800 in value today, right? Yesterday's high end is not today's high end. Yesterday's energy efficiency is not today's energy efficiency, right? So these are things to be able to say, yes, you put in some equity into your house, but over the years, these things aren't the same. Just like here, what improvements need to be made? We've all seen those, right? The pink shag carpet from 1983, or the that 1970s faux wood panel that is just like super thin plywood that's made to look like wood. Anybody ever see that? Maybe I've really dated myself. Or we need to update flooring, right? Now this is where you're being the devil's advocate, right? So, like as an example, well, if we needed to replace the carpet in the house, my carpet person charges X for this amount of square feet of replacement, right? I know the type of materials my clients, if I was representing a buyer, would want. So maybe my carpet guy will charge $15,000 for brand new carpet. Now, all of a sudden, we're minusing from the value. So here with the refined value section, you can take away or add in the value of the home. And it's a great talking point because now all of a sudden you get that homeowner to think maybe we need to think realistically about pricing, right? Because as we all know, buyers want move-in ready and they don't really want to do much, right? So this is to be able to help with that. Now from here, we can create a CMA, super easy. But what I want to show you today are the created reports. Now this was added in November, December of last year. So it's still really new. What I love about this is that now when you go to immediately create a report, you can now create a buyer's template, a seller's template, or we can look at all the templates available to us for all types of clients. So in this case, what I'm going to do is maybe have a seller's template. Let's see here. Nope, that's not what I want. Where is it? No. I guess they kind of, yeah, I wanted to create, there we go. When I click on that little house icon, I can see what the seller report's going to have. It's going to have property information, refined value, market trends, flood zones, the CMA, and of course, recommended pricing, right? We can see all these reports down below of what this report would look like. Now, in the olden days, this used to be for the seller's report about an 80-page report, right? Now, I don't think it's that much right now, but if I hit continue with this template, and I name it for my client, what I love about this is that now I go into this editing of the reports. Now, what's cool about this is that I can take out reports, or better yet, I can move things around. So this is almost like a presentation. So now I can move things around for myself because I like to present things a certain way, first, second, third. You couldn't do that in the old report with RPR. So now one of the new updates that we've got going here is that we can move the reports. By the way, I can also upload custom pages, PDF documents. So those of you with a custom cover letter, introduction about your company, you can now add that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our listing presentation that we have, and we're going to actually merge it into the seller's report so that now C-21 and this RPR detailed analytical report is great for us. By the way, we can add in photos, or we can look at photos, we can add in our profile information. And now when I hit run the report, I can email it, I can download it, I can do all sorts of things with this, and hopefully it'll take less than a couple of seconds here to build this report. And now we're going to see what this report entails. So the cover sheet's been a little bit more modernized as it. And oh, and look, we can actually customize it. It looks like it's brought into like a editor of some sort. Well, it looks like Adobe. Yeah, it looks like Adobe Editor, but there you go. You got our close price, RVM, you know, our refined value would be here, property information. I love this, the market trends. This is something that's been added into your seller's reports. So easy, digestible information, quick and simple. Yep. And we're talking with people one-on-one. We're not printing it out. We're not using it for marketing. Anybody like this? Looks pretty simple, right? Buyer's report's very simple or similar. Now, part of our marketing. Let me go back to the property. One of the tabs that we can look at are the market trends in and around this property or in and around that neighborhood. Okay. And around that neighborhood, we see some key details, what type of market we're dealing with, sellers, balance, or buyer's market. We see here that we're in a buyer or seller's market at 1.8 months worth of inventory from the MLS. Currently, right now, on average, the median days on market are about 27 days on the market, right? Property, median sold price 1.6. Homeowners from list to sold are getting 97.5% of their asking price. So things to think, you know, to have conversation. Now, what we love is the data like active inventory, sold listings pulled from the MLS, sold public records. These are properties that were not listed in the MLS. So they could be registered properties, they could be FSBOs, they could be those types of things. So we see here that comparatively, homeowners, there are 20 properties that sold at 1.6. Homeowners that did not list their properties in the MLS are getting 1.67. So they're getting a little bit more. We got to fix that. Right? I've not seen this number be almost as high as that number, especially with the median sold prices. That's pretty amazing. This kind of tells me that these are probably registered properties. Okay. Listing inventory of distressed properties, values, things like this. Now, what do we do with this? We need to develop content, right? Remember our prospecting class? We got to develop content. Now, when we develop our content, at least on a monthly, quarterly basis about the market, wouldn't it be great to be able to talk about this? How many of you can all of a sudden come up with something off the top of your head for your marketing piece? Not everybody, right? Okay, let's help you out. So over here at the top right corner, just where it says market trends, over to the right-hand side, there is a choice here called create a script. RPR has a built-in AI program. Now, the built-in AI program has been improved since December. What I mean by that is that here, instead of writing a prompt, I can say what type of tone I want the content to be in. Do I want it to be professional, engaging, conversational, or now friendly and casual? So, young lady here, what type of tone would you like to take with potential clients? Professional, engaging, conversational, or friendly or casual?
Engaging.
Engaging. Let's engage with people. All right. Now we see here we're defaulted to buyers and sellers, but guess what? This used to only be buyers, sellers, or buyers or sellers. We'll get today. What type of client do I need to talk to? Do I want to talk to not only buyers, sellers, but maybe first-time home buyers, move-up buyers, investors, luxury home, downsizing, or distressed sellers? So, sir, who would you love to talk to in this case?
Buyers and sellers.
Buyers and sellers. We'll keep it there. Great. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to analyze the analytics for a blog post. Now, given hopefully 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we now have a great blog post about the market. Created in what? 30 seconds less? Now they've added the fun tools where I could copy the text, maybe put it into ChatGPT, Gemini, or Copilot, rewrite it a little bit.
Ask your own AI program.
This is the RPR program. So this is all, if you'll look at it or as you read it, it will have your information because it's pulled from your profile. And then of course I can export it into Word. So I can edit it there into Word, maybe import it into a newsletter. I can put this into a PDF document or as a PDF. I can put it into my Google Docs, export it as a TXT file, or email it.
We get this. Our MLS matrix, so it's the MLS. It's a program RPR that's within the MLS, so we don't pay anything off this. Is free.
Well, this is
But then you
included.
can still take that AI, your AI stuff and put it into chat.
ChatGPT, I can put it into Canva, I can do whatever I want with this, right? So now I've got a nice blog post. Now by here, we also have social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, right? I can click on social media. And now what's going to be cool about this is that it breaks it down, it puts in emojis, and you'll notice here that each paragraph here, that maybe I can even send out individually as individual posts, also have their own individual hashtags. All trending what's current today. Right? And again, I can copy it, I can paste it, I can do whatever I want to. And then anybody here into video marketing? And I think you are, right?
Yeah.
Guess what? Create me a video script. So not only does it tell me what to say, but it tells me how I should lay out the video. So now I can use the proper tools to go in and do what I need to. Maybe I copy and paste this into ChatGPT and say, please make this into a Instagram reel of 35 seconds, right? So it'll take this 2-minute script and condense it down because you just got to copy and paste the script. Right? So now all of a sudden I've got more content to the various different clients that we can market to. We're not just limited to buyers and sellers. We can talk to those investors. So if we happen to see that in that neighborhood, we've got a substantial amount of investors, I can now make a special investor script. I can now make my first-time home buyers or my downsizers. Because we know that maybe in our search criteria, which by the way, if I go to more filters here, there's a lot more search criteria. I can narrow things down, one of which is ownership time. So if I happen to select, I want properties that have been owned for 15 or more years, what does that mean? People that might have more equity, less owed on their loans, or empty nesters, right? Maybe they're needing to do multi-generational housing at that point, or maybe you need to have somebody talk to them about, hey, you've got a 10,000 square foot lot. You know that there are special things that you can do to build ADUs. And the government is encouraging you to do that. So now take your single family and make it a quadplex. Who doesn't want that? Right? So you can do all this very quickly and easily. Are there any questions on any of this? Anybody like this? Good. So one last thing, market research. Here we can do some research. We can go to those residential market trends, just put in a city, just to get an overall view, do all that fun stuff that we just did for that one property, that one neighborhood, but now we can do it on the city level. Number two, commercial, because we can look at both commercial and residential information. Why would I want a commercial insight? Because I want to be able to understand on a commercial standpoint the viability of a neighborhood or an area, right? When I go to commercial site selection, I'm now going to put in city, state, zip code, or county. In this case, maybe we look at San Clemente, California. Okay. From here, I'm now going to put in some demographic data. What do I want to look at? Well, let's see here. Maybe I want to understand who they are. Who are the people that I need to market to? Oop. Do I want to look at household size, income, net worth, personal finance, income, real estate debt? I love that one. Who's in real estate debt? Vehicle debt, marital status, education, race, age, gender, all this information. So maybe I want to understand, oh, I don't know. Let's look at the marital status. In that marital status, I want to see married versus divorced.
It's Orange County.
This is in San Clemente,
Okay, let's see.
right? Now, by the way, I can have up to 5 stats here. So I want to add some more criteria. And in this criteria, I want to understand some facts here of maybe understanding housing stats, population stats, income trends, or I can say what they do, right? What industry of employment, right? Maybe I want to understand all these different industries, okay? And now when I say run me some stats, so I want to understand who's divorced in what areas of San Clemente and what they do. So now all of a sudden I see that it's now breaking it down, and that we see that out of, what is that? The divorce rate, there is 12% divorce. So 753 people near Capistrano Beach and Dana Point. There's Foster Ranch in San Clemente at 730 people. So they have a 6.6 divorce rate there. So it's kind of interesting that all of a sudden we all can start to pick out these things and start choosing our marketing, right? Just like if I went back, oh, what was that?
Oh, it's just interesting.
It's very interesting, right? I mean, these are kind of high numbers, especially when if you know Rancho San Clemente, which, where's Rancho San Clemente at? You know?
It's up in the hills. It's a very family area, really.
Family area that 10% of them are getting divorced or have been
That's,
divorced.
A discriminatory thing to say,
I
but
would-
it's true.
Sorry. I feel like they're probably all younger, so you don't even like younger kids, so they haven't been into it very long.
But what I love about something like this is that we can sit there and start diving into this rabbit hole of statistics to understand our clientele and our niche, right? Because even if I just said, you know what, I just want to understand simple facts of housing stats, and I want to understand who rents versus owning in San Clemente, right? If you just run a simple stat like this,
That's a great target.
that's a great target, right? Because when we're thinking about target marketing, we want our marketing dollars to be more efficient, right? So now all of a sudden in all these different areas here, we're going to see that Capistrano Beach has a 52% ownership rate versus 47%. Foster Ranch has an 85% ownership rate versus rent, 14.9. Let's see here. Do we have a high I want to say, yeah, here you go. Rancho San Clemente is 29.5% of renters.
There you go. Oh, you can foresee.
Where we, if you want to target renters, Capistrano Beach also had the high divorce area, it was the highest.
Yeah.
And so if you want to market to.
The divorcee
Yes.
needing a rental.
That's
That's
where
right.
it is.
That's where we go. You can add the demographic male versus female, right?
Swipe left on this house.
But now we understand who we need to talk to, right? Instead of spending $1,000 a month where you're sending out 500 pieces where almost near half are being thrown away because it's not relevant to them,
Yeah.
right? Why send a marketing piece to somebody who's divorced when you're talking about family? Doesn't that just all of a sudden open up a wound? And they all of a sudden now they throw it away faster, and of course they get angry at you.
Yeah, dummy.
But you know what just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden we're starting to use this for ourselves, right? We're using this to improve our business, to improve our talking points, to improve our marketing points. And we're now using digital information for our physical information.
Anthony?
Yes.
Question. How, as far as the divorce or the marriage, whatever, do you have a way of drilling down the address, or how does that happen?
Not from here. This just gives a statistical oversight in this section.
Sure.
So now I would say other tools like Rebo Gateway would actually tell you which addresses are going through or have been divorced. So Rebo Gateway is a CAR tool for $50 a month. Uh, Well, some will even go, oh, this house, there's somebody that's pregnant based on the information that they've gathered from social media posts. Now, you probably want to use some tact because in last month's class, when we were talking about Rebo Gateway, about the divorcees, there was an agent that knocked on the door, said, hey, I understand that you're going through the divorce and the wife didn't realize that their husband had filed. So it does pull from public data. But if the husband has not told the wife or the wife has not told the husband, that would be a very awkward conversation. So we want to obviously use tact. Exactly. So I mean, you can look at those types of things and actually for the
Or even mailing somebody something.
mailing something, we want to use some decorum,
Yeah.
right? So we just want to be proper. We want to be careful of what we do, what we say. Now, let me see here. I think they also updated the commercial side of the reports. So if I go to the commercial side real quick, and then I just put in an address, 222 Avenida Del Mar, San Clemente, go.
No, thank you.
All right, so here we've got the back of your building. I love the fact that the Google has took it. That's the one across the street. Oh, Luxor. Okay, I meant 229. Yeah. Well, hey, guess what? We want to, let's go with the property report. And I think this one has got the well, I think this one will actually give you traffic. So what I like about this is you'll get to, so as an investor, say somebody's buying a commercial property or, and they want to put their business somewhere. I could go to those commercial site maps, see who they are, what their incomes are like, what their disposable income is. So I can see who in San Clemente has, what people in what areas have disposable income. Now, all of a sudden I jump over for my commercial person over to the commercial side, and hopefully find a property that's for sale or find a property that maybe we can entice a homeowner to sell for the commercial. But what's nice about this, and hopefully they still have it in here, is that they will have, I love the fact that they've got the tenants in there. Traffic. And let me see if I can zoom in on this. Oh, where's my zoom? I just want to increase my view. There we go. So here throughout the day with traffic counts, this is your traffic count for an entire day. Who's driving by what street at what times?
You like freaking people.
I love freaking people out, right? Notice at your traffic light, you have cameras,
Yeah.
right? They track traffic, they count. It's amazing what the government does to you, right?
Oh, yeah.
But here you can now, as a business, see when your heaviest areas are to make sure that the business that you're buying or the place that you want to place your business is getting that traffic.
That's amazing.
It's eyes on the business, right? If you didn't have your C-21 out here, how would they know? Right? So these are things that are good for any and all businesses. This is also really good for people, just in general, because now all of a sudden, oh, this is where the hot places are. Here's where the people with disposable income will be going because they're driving by here constantly. So now let's buy you a house next to those people and a business. Anybody like this? Any questions? Have I freaked everybody out? At least once, if not more. All right. If there are no questions, I think we've finished 10 minutes early. If there are no questions, thank you all very much. You're welcome. Ms. Holly, do you have any words of wisdom for the group today?
Definitely, I mean, we have a recording of this, so I'll send that out and then practice it. This is such great information.
Yes.
In a timely manner, so that you can remember it.
Yes. Do you want me to stop here and let you talk? Okay.